without further ado, please, a big round of applause for Mr. Aether.
Fantastic. Okay, hi. No pressure, Zikri, no pressure at all. I'm not here to make you cry or anything. I'm just here to share some interesting ideas. Okay, my name is over there, as you can see, Aether. Wow, hey, it's not my birth name. It's sort of the moniker that I've taken on as a spoken word artist. So there's multiple definitions for the word ether, but generally it's the upper sky and the old school Greek god of light and the air that the gods breathed and just radiance and like sky kind of stuff. So essentially that is what I feel is a source of inspiration, and that's kind of what I channel when I do my thing, which I should probably do so that you guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, could you guys just give me your word? January is a really cool month, first of the year. Can you snap your fingers for me? Okay, let's try to keep some rhythm going. Yeah? Cool. January, sweet month like cranberries. Do what I do and I never quit because I believe in light and I go and I love it, so throw me another word so I can keep flowing. Do what I do, keep glowing. I have this inner fire that's searching for words I need, desire. Korean. Durian, that's an interesting fruit that I had once and I nearly died. This durian just made me look and I thought to myself, it's nearly over. I had a durian smoothie, it wasn't so groovy. I guess it's just not in my taste, but I did my best and I did not waste, but I nearly died. I must erase that memory. I suppose that I should have strawberries like January or raspberries or something sweeter. Could I have another word so that I can go deeper? What's that word, ma'am? Sunset? Sunsets are cool. I didn't have my durian under the sunset. It was more like looking for success. I was doing something. I take this thing from the chest and I keep doing it because I'm doing my best and I need more words, but speak louder so I can hear them make you prouder. Wow. June, I think. This is what I'm looking for. I'm going in and I'm going to rhyme June with the next word that I get from the next person. So June monkey, monkeys in June. That's funny. I do what I do and I keep going. June monkeys make money by making monkeys dance in June and then go backwards through the calendar. I suppose Gangnam Style, that was a very, very strange dance, and so I kind of danced like a monkey who was born in June, and in February of the next year, we looked at him and thought, hey, that's clear. But anyway, so my name is Aether, and my freestyles kind of go deeper. Keep throwing me words if you want to play, and I'll randomly think of things to say. Euphoria, that's what I get when I rap. It's a sensation that, as a matter of fact, it comes from the ether, but it's a part of the light. Euphoria teaches me I have to fight for that which I deserve, that which makes me walk upon the earth proudly, knowing that I rap and speak loudly, so profoundly. This is the ether, you now found me. I rap what I rap, and I have this sound that comes from within, and it's so profound that it resounds and reverberates through everybody's soul. It does what it does, and it makes me whole, and it makes you whole, and we stand here together because I believe that we're birds of a feather, born of the flock of the infinite light, and I know that I'm here like an infinite life, and when I finally die, and I guess I disappear, my art and my love will remain right here forever, and the next generation will diamond. That's what I am, I guess. That's why I'm shining, standing on the stage, and I'm loving it. I'm vibing, looking at the ether when it's cool. I'm arriving, yes, and it's cool, and I love everything. Love Asia, I guess I love Asia. Mal Asia, I'll see you later. I am electrified like a taser. Do what I do with the eyes like lasers, like Lupe Fiasco. Guess I'll see you later. Justin Bieber, give him a laser to the face. See you later. So, thanks guys. That's kind of like what I do. I keep pressing this button. I don't think it's the right button. Oh, okay, that one?
Yeah, that one.
Okay, cool, thanks. Yeah, I'm really glad you guys are recording that because I tend not to remember the freestyles. It kind of feels like I just get hit by like a wave of random ether light and inspiration, and then the words just come out, and then afterwards I don't quite remember them. So that's kind of where the name came from. Okay. I chose that random picture to begin my talk, which is essentially about you, actually. I'm not really here to talk about me. I'm here to talk about you, I'm here to talk about us. You know, I believe that we are all so full of potential, but for some reason or other, we choose not to recognize it. You know, sometimes it's like don't know, fear or doubt or being misled. I don't know, but for some reason, it's like a huge limiting factor, and it makes our progression difficult. So I'm hoping that through what we talk about, we can make that progression a little more simple, a little more personal, a little more natural. You guys up for that? Yes. Awesomeness. Okay. That is another random picture, but I guess I like the space that it gives, the dynamic, the sense of majesty, which I think we all carry inside us. The quote over there is something that I randomly came up with when I was working on one of my old projects. The project was called Memories of the Dark Side. It was a cathartic project where I was generally remembering all the things that I no longer wanted in my life, and I was moving into the positive aspect of me, like the best version of Aether, you know, the me I could be like really happy about, that kind of thing. So the saying is, a flame once lost may know what it is through all that it's not. That's essentially saying that if you're looking for something, if you want to be a happy version of you, if you do something that makes you unhappy, instead of saying, oh, wow, I'm so unhappy, you can just think, you know what, the fact that I'm feeling unhappy about this means I know what I'm happy about. The fact that maybe I'm a violinist and I'm working in an accounting firm. I'm working in this accounting firm and it's horrible. Instead of complaining about that, I could be like, maybe I should actually go play violin. It's like calibrating your GPS and calibrating your compass, and that's the important thing. Even though you feel you've been flung far from your initial trajectory in your course, it's not about lamenting the circumstances. It's about understanding why you feel that way and using those feelings to guide you back to where you ought to be. You understand? So that was the general call of that quote. Okay, this over here, this is an analogy that I'm hoping you can share with me. I want you to imagine that those are two parallel Earths, okay? And there's a version of you on both of them, okay? So let's say on the Earth on the left, you're like the worst version of you, okay? You're like the really lazy you. You are the just whatever it is, whatever you think is undesirable, okay? And then on the other Earth, the right-hand one, you're the best version of you, okay? So I want you to think about what the differences are between the worst version of you and the best version of you. And in order to assist you, I'll just use myself as an example, okay? Let's say on the worst planet or the worst version of me, I was like a cokehead, okay? And on the best version of me, I was a president, okay? So there's this incitement talk that I have to give today nonetheless. If the worst version of me was coming to do this, I'd have spent last night, you know, doing coke and generally being a plague upon the planet. If I was the best version of me, I would have spent the last night maybe having a durian smoothie or doing yoga or, you know, just preparing for it. But the most important thing about my performance or my talk here today wouldn't be what I did before. It would be how I feel about it, which is the most important thing. If I did something that was pretty messed up, I would feel so rubbish about it that my ability to perform or to speak or to incite would be severely hindered. So I think we tend to judge ourselves so much by what we do and what we don't do that we really forget that the most important thing is how we feel about ourselves at any given point in time. But in order to do that, your faith has got to be greater than your fear. Because once you allow yourself to be, you know, afraid of yourself or afraid of failing, we all know what happens there. It's not really going to happen. We're going to talk about faith in a bit. But for now, a random saying. These slides are also bigger. Anyway, a ship in harbor is safe, but that's not why ships were built. This is essentially telling you that even though you can build up these walls around yourself, these comfort zones that make you feel comfortable, not only do they make you feel comfortable, they keep you trapped exactly where you are. So if you want to go do something new, if you want to go start up something new, like one of Anna's startup ideas, you need to be willing to get out of wherever you are. Because you know that random saying, if you want to get something you've never gotten or you want to go somewhere you've never gone, you need to do things you've never done. So it's pretty much insane to try to find some awesome thing, but standing right here, you know? You have to have that gusto to be able to break away from whatever you're used to, whatever makes you feel happy and comfortable and safe, and go get it, pretty much. Yeah, as far as faith, and coming back to that, I came up with a bit of a random acronym for faith some time ago, where it's essentially FAITH, being fearless attitude inherent to heaven. This is not like a particularly religious heaven or anything. It's just an idea of whatever's the greatest, most awesome version of the world that you can possibly imagine. It's sort of like saying that, personally for me, you know, the idea of heaven is like infinite awesome mega light, and then after I die, I'll probably go back to that infinite awesome mega light, and that everybody goes there afterwards, and it's just amazing, but it's not here. And so when you realize that when you finally go to that awesomeness, there's nothing physically left of you, you think to yourself that, okay, you're bound for awesomeness post-life. The best you can do for yourself right now is probably leave elements of that light or just be an amazing person pretty much, because there's nothing really to be afraid of, because even after you're dead, you're probably in the most beautiful place in existence. So what is there to fear? What is there to lose, really? The only thing you have to lose is not doing something amazing while you're still alive. You know what I mean? So that's where the fearless attitude inherent to heaven thing comes from. And if you want to remember what FAITH stands for, you can just write it down or something. Cool. Okay, I chose a random picture to throw you off here because I don't want us getting too bogged down into boxes or stereotypes or any of that stuff that we can associate with, because it's distracting in a way, and it takes away from just the clarity and the purity of the message, which is that you're awesome. That's generally what I'm trying to say here in the end. Okay? I want you guys to tell me what we share in common. Opportunity? Humanity? Did you say constipation? I'm feeling okay. Worth? Work? Okay, what was that? Okay, I'm wondering about that word. Yeah, I'm wondering about that previous word. Anyway, okay, so yeah, there's humanity, there's worth, there's opportunity. Okay, there's all of that. I suppose the most important thing that we share in common is probably what he said, which is our humanity. Because, yeah, we all share blood and a lot of us from random parts of the world, when we see people that we love, we hug them, which is really awesome. But it's the fact that at the core of us, there's this awesome version of us that's just kind of dormant and less dormant than others. Some people just seem to be all vibrant, and when they walk into the room, they just radiate and stuff. But at the end of the day, there is something extremely important, which is at the core of the individual. And that's kind of the untapped version of you. If you remember the two planets thing, where the one version was the best version of you, and the other version was the worst version of you, how many people in this room can honestly pick up their hand and say they are, right now, the best version of themselves? Hey, Clark Kent in the background. Nice one, nice one. I respect you, brother, for that. A lot of us have this aspiration where we try to be more because we feel like, no, something's missing. I'm not fulfilled because there's a part of me that's not here. I don't wake up every morning like, yes, that's me, and then do a little dance of success every day. There's always something that we're trying to get to, and that's what I think we share in common, and that's what I think we should focus on as people. Because I get this sensation that when people find the best in themselves and they talk to other people looking for the same thing, there's this symbiosis that starts to take place, and there will be enough cake. Just saying. Okay. Do not let the waves of doubt wash away your authentic self. Now, if you were to look at the best version of you as the actual you, as in your authentic self, not some idea that's very far away, but just you, okay? If the best version of you is not Superman, if the best version of you is just you, at the core, then you need to stop thinking that, hey, I'm unworthy. You need to stop thinking that, hey, look at that person. They started up an awesome business. Hey, look at that person. They're a really super famous rapper, but they rap about cars, and I rap about something more meaningful. You need to stop that random comparison, because that's just going to kind of slow you down. You're going to be like, maybe I can't do it. I could think that the music industry is a waste of time because of what the subject material is about. I'm an avid writer. I could think that, oh, wow, look at how terrible movies are. Hollywood is regurgitating everything, or copying Korean, or copying Japanese movies. There's no hope. Or I could just be like, you know what? I want to do this thing, and I think I could do something really awesome and fantastic and beautiful, and I can use my faith to actually do what I feel like I came to this world and this life to do in the first place. It's like a decision, and you can't just choose the easy way out, which is to just be like, blah, I can't do it because so-and-so said and so-and-so said, That would be betraying myself. So now, this is a unfortunate truth, some would say. Funny enough, I saw an old Incitement video that I think it was a dude called Amir. I'm not sure what Amir's surname is, but he was really awesome. He gave a really awesome talk. He was swearing for 31 minutes, and I was just like, wow, this is really awesome. It inspired me. Did anybody see that? The Amir talk? Yeah? All right, nice one. So he mentioned something that I think his uncle or dad said to him, which was like, hey, Amir, one day you're going to die. And the whole aspect of that is that, yes, it's inevitable, okay? That's the one thing that is pretty much, how do I say, guaranteed? Yeah, you were born, so yes, you will die. But the important thing, as surely as this quote says, the goal is not to live forever, the goal is to create something that will. You need to think about the fact that while you were here, you have the opportunity to do something cool, to become that awesome version of yourself, you know? And yeah, you kind of have a time limit because, man, life is unpredictable, like it really is. You know, things just change and it's just really crazy. So if you want to do something, if you want to be something, it's really, really, really wasteful to doubt yourself. It's really wasteful to wake up every day and be like, maybe I can't do it, because you don't know how much time you have, you know? So you can't be hesitating. Just imagine you had one shot. Just imagine you had one shot and one gun and your goal was somewhere there and you had to like take it. Would you wait? You know? Anyway, so courage. Not the absence of fear, but the presence of fear and pushing forward nonetheless. I'll give you an example, okay? Once upon a time, I was walking from school and I was just like, you know, walking, minding my own business, listening to my music, and there was this pit bull. You guys know what a pit bull is, yeah? Yeah, so it was like there, and it was meaty and buff, and it was in the back of this pickup truck, and it was like tied by its leash to one of the roll bars on the back of the pickup truck. So I'm just minding my own business, walking by, and this dude decides that he's gonna like walk really close to this pit bull, and it jumps out after him, like jumps out of the car. So I'm like, whoa. So I take a step, and this pit bull, unfortunately, since it jumped at this guy, it's still kind of chained to the roll bars, so it ends up like falling, but it can't touch the ground. So it's kind of suspended, and it's sort of like suffocating and stuff like that. So everybody runs off because they don't want to get close to this thing. And I'm thinking to myself, this is bad. You know, because I realized in that moment that everybody around me was afraid. And I was afraid too, because, I mean, it's a pit bull. I'm not trying to get bitten or anything. But then I realized if I don't do anything, that's probably it for that dog. So I ran up to that dog, scared as I was, and I lifted it from its, you know, pre-hanging position, put it back in the car. I looked at it, and it was so calm, like so docile. I guess it's like life flashed before its eyes and stuff like that, you know. You know, but it didn't look like it was about to like bite my head off or anything. So I looked at it and it looked like calm, and then I thought maybe I should pet it to check if it's okay. Then I thought, you know, it's actually a pit bull. So I walked away. Dog is cool, I'm cool, and I moved on with my life. But the point I'm making is I was very afraid the entire time, but I kind of moved forward anyway because, well, if I didn't, what would have happened? You know what I mean? And life is kind of like that, where there's a lot of stuff that we're scared of, but if we don't do it, we lose out on a lot. Fear is a liar. I don't think I need to explain that. It's fairly straightforward. Yeah? Yeah? Everybody understands that? Fantastic. Now, this is something that I found randomly on the internet that I thought was very profound. Because when we talk about positivity and being the best version of you, we tend to divide. This is bad, this is good. But one thing we don't understand is that, let's just say at the top is the bad. The next white circle there is the good. Next is the bad and the good. And then we have the good and the bad. And then after that, we have the intricate marriage of heaven and hell that is life. We need to understand that so long as we are here and so long as we are human, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to screw up a little bit. We're going to try to get some things, and we're going to fail. We're going to hurt the people we love. We're going to get hurt by the people we love. We're going to have some victories. We're going to have some defeats. But at the end of the day, this is just what life is about. We live in a world of comparative. Some people are going to be better off than us, or we're going to think some people are better looking. Some people are going to have more money. Some people are going to have better opportunities. Some people are going to have richer daddies. Some people are going to have hotter girlfriends. God forbid, all women are beautiful. So at the end of it all, you know, what we have to realize is that it's just an intricate thing. It's weaves together, and you still have to just do what you feel is right. You have to dig into the authentic self and be like, you know what, I want to do this while I'm here on planet Earth. If I'm here for 35 years, 45, 55, 65, 75, I need to do this no matter what happens, no matter how hard it gets, because it's not supposed to be easy. It's not, which is why, yeah, of course. Have you ever heard the saying, artists use lies to tell the truth? All of this creativity, I feel that creativity and inspiration come from that same really awesome mega place that we all come from, which is why there's so much awesome knowledge that is kept in your Star Wars or your Game of Thrones, whatever you watch. Pay attention. I think when people are inspired and they write, they carry really random messages. Let's take, for example, when Frodo was really sad about the fact that he had to carry the ring and that Sauron was doing all that crazy stuff. He said, I wish it may not have happened in my time, or I wish it need not have happened in my time. And then Gandalf was like, yeah, so do I. But, you know, so do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us. Now, that was a random quote written by a dude for fictional characters. But the truth behind that statement is that you might be like, I wish we didn't live in a war-torn world, a world with poverty, famine, greed, rape, pillaging, and all that crazy stuff. But we do. And what we have to do is become the best of ourselves, even within this random arena of like random hatred and segregation and all of that stuff. We can't be dissuaded or discouraged by the state of the world. We are here too. You know what I mean? We can't just be like, oh my God, there's a war going on over there, so I'm going to sleep on my dreams. Really? Don't you think for one second that these random conflicting forces like on the planet are just a platform that's waiting for us to just show our own worth? Don't you think for one second that this is like the arena and we are those who must battle and build and teach? We're not supposed to be just crushed. That's impossible. There's no way we're all here to lose. Sorry, I don't believe it, and I hope you don't believe it either. Okay, boom, not easy. I think I said that. That is one of our biggest limitations, by the way, just so you know. You know, if you think about fear being a limitation, there's a bunch of stuff that holds us back. And oh, that's stereotyping, by the way, guys. By the way, that's what that was. Yeah, we need not break ourselves into those little categories. It's pretty bad. Like, we end up limiting our own potential. So let's not do that. Now, you already know what potential is because all of you have it. When I talk about the best version of you, I'm talking about that the force you have within you for great good. And generally, I mean, people think that, no, you can't be born with something. Like, for example, me. They'd be like, hey, man, did you just wake up one day and have this ability to like work with words? Did you just wake up one day and be able to write lyrics and rap and play guitar and play drums and play bass and write stuff? No, I taught myself to do all those things. But as far as I'm concerned, those techniques, that's just building on the inspiration that already exists inside the individual. Whatever your calling is, it's already inside you. All you're doing is just getting the skills that are going to help you portray that light inside you in such a way that it can be understood. You know, if you're like a Picasso kind of person, you have to learn your cross-hatching. You're going to have to learn your, all that random painting stuff. I can't draw to save my life. But, generally, you have to learn the tools of the trade so that you can show your own unique elements, if you know what I mean. So that's the sort of importance of it all, having faith in your potential. Now, I can't emphasize this enough. In the pursuit of whatever awesomeness you have inside you, you can't try to be somebody else. You can't be like, hey, that person over there ended up getting, his dream realized. That person ended up getting rich by doing this and that, so I'm going to do the same thing. Can't do that. In my home country, in Botswana, there's a lot of that. For some reason, when somebody has a really successful business idea, there'll be like 45 more versions of it immediately. Really annoying. I mean, we have a low population, but can we be original? Anyway, so that saying, Aham Brahmasmi, do we have any Hindus here? Okay. So it's an old Vedic statement which generally says, I am soul source. Generally, you're saying that at the core of you is an entire universe, and you have the ability to do pretty much anything. It's a very empowering statement. I think it's fantastic because it allows you to recognize your own value. And if you don't recognize your own value, who is? If you wake up in the morning and you feel like trash, are you going to have to go over and say, hey, man, I feel pretty bad. Please give me some encouragement? Encouragement is good, but the most important aspect of all of that is believing that you are already valuable and awesome, which I think is true. Who's awesome? You're awesome. Not you, girl in the blue, like all of you. Yeah? Can I ask you guys to say something for me? Okay? On 3, right? You're going to say, I'm awesome. Not me, you. So the actual words, I'm awesome. Okay? All right? Yeah? Let's not get this one. Let's not get it twisted. So you're going to say the actual words, I'm awesome, on 3. Okay? All of you? Everyone's going to say, I'm awesome? All right? 1, 2, 3. I'm awesome! Fantastic. You guys feel awesome? Okay, feeling like, wow. Do you guys feel awesome? Yes! Awesome. Okay, so faith versus fear. The most important thing is to beat your fear. How do you do that? Just believe in yourself. Okay, Jay-Z, you guys know Jay-Z? Yes. Interesting rapper. He said something that I thought was really cool. I mean, he said, do you have the strength to get up from up under you? Essentially, he's saying that one of the biggest obstacles to our progression is ourselves. We have this horrible, horrible, horrible habit of getting in our own way, of sometimes trapping ourselves within our own walls or something. We find a way to betray ourselves, and that just needs to stop. We need to believe that the light we have inside us is much stronger than the obstacles that we have maybe in our minds or because of something that happened like a few years ago. We need to get over our own life stories and just focus on being the best that we are. Because if we don't, we will never realize our potential, our dreams will be unfulfilled, we'll feel pretty trashy. I want you to imagine the other side, that other planet that I described to you, where you were like the worst version of you. It's pretty bad, isn't it? When you think about a version of you that doesn't do anything, a version of you that doesn't achieve anything, it's not any more possible than it is possible for you to never get out of bed in the morning. You know, you've heard people say the best way to pursue your dreams is to actually get out of bed and go pursue them. It's the same basic principle. The only thing that you have to do as an individual to fail is just stop trying. So I'm fairly certain that you awesome people don't have that risk. So I'm going to move on to what we stand to gain. I chose that individual picture to represent sort of the warrior aspect, in the sense that if you pay attention, you notice how that dude is just alone, but not lonely. I feel that in a way, even though we are a unified human race in principle, because we're not actually the way we act, we are sort of like just travelers in this whole arena of life. And at the end of the day, our lives are this vast expanse. You have to walk this journey inside yourself and find the best version of you before you can share it with the world. It's just like how some people know very little about themselves and they want to go and get into like a super, ultra, mega, lifelong relationship. And I'm like, what are you going to do when you get into that relationship? What are you going to give to somebody else if you don't know, you know? How am I going to go and get married to somebody if I don't know me? How am I going to share something I don't know with somebody? That's the kind of thing. You need to understand more about yourself as an individual before you can, well, do anything as far as I'm concerned, because then you're less of a person and you're doing something half-heartedly and you're giving only a part of yourself. So the last thing we stand to gain, I think, more than anything, is probably the most important thing that anybody can gain, which is themselves. You know, once you get over like a random fear and stuff, you actually find that at the core of yourself as an individual, you're actually surprisingly awesome. I don't know, there are some people who don't believe people are awesome, but I have this firm belief, and I always see it when I look at people. I always end up seeing, like, and this has been a problem in the past when I was a bit younger, I'd see like the best version of people for some reason, especially with women, and I got into some horrible relationships because I'd see ultimate people, but then their actions were like very different. And I'd be like, what's going on here? I see this, and then, you know, it's weird. It happens with dudes as well, don't worry. I've got some good friends who I thought were really awesome, and then they weren't, you know? But in the end, you realize that there's our potential, and then there's us. And the best thing we can do for ourselves is bridge the gap between our potential, which is what we can be, and where we are now. Because once you do that, cool ringtone, once you do that, you'll be like this epic, magnanimous force of positivity that's just exploding outwards, and you will have all colors of like the emotional spectrum coming out of your ears when you speak. And generally, if we all find that one thing inside ourselves, I want you to pay attention to what's going to happen to people who meet each other now. I want you to pay attention to what happens in interactions and households where people are awakened to like the awesomeness of themselves or awesomeness of themselves. In communities where people are like, yeah, you know what? At the end of the day, we have this light within us that's common. We may be from different places, but let's just be awesome and be the best version of ourselves. I want you to pay attention to what happens in families, communities, religions, like countries where people understand their own awesomeness. When they're like, I allow you to be awesome in your own way. I'm awesome in my own way. We're human beings. We're both awesome in our own way. Let's just be incredibly awesome and make the world a more awesome place, because if we all believe we're awesome and have self-love and self-respect, we'll be so busy being awesome that we won't have time to neglect and disrespect everybody else, and the world will generally be a better place. Do you agree? Yes. Fantastic. Humanity Unleashed. My name is Aether. Thank you.